I think I met you maybe once. What's your name, ma'am?
Hildy.
Hildy. All right. So we have Miss Hildy and Jerry. Charles. All right. Hildy, Jerry, and Charles, thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you.
And we have Miss Bram over here. We know Bram. Well, maybe everybody doesn't, but I do.
Yeah.
All right. Start off the same way we always do. How'd you see God this week?
Good.
Good? You're back. You thought you were sick, but, well, you were sick, but you weren't as sick as you thought you were. So,
Glad to be back with everybody.
yes, allowed out of your room and not stuck in there on quarantine, right?
Right.
All right. Well, very
Our
good.
good friends here, we're all still around.
Yes. We did lose Mr. Jerry Jennis this week. The Jennises, they live in the last room there on the left down this hallway here. He did pass away, I don't know exactly what day.
Last night.
Last night? Okay, he passed away last night, so I did have the opportunity to go see her during the week, and she let me know he only had a few days left. We got to pray together, so that was good. Is she gone? Is she back?
Yes.
She went into the hospital, but she's back. Okay. All right. So keep her in your prayers, and when you see her, comfort her. That's tough. But no one better than one of her neighbors that can help her through that walk, right, Miss Valerie?
Yes, I'll help. We all must help.
Yes. Anybody? How'd you see God this week? I didn't forget. Well, we did. We saw God do a lot of things in our life this week. It was a tough week, but that's when you know you saw God, because we got through some very difficult things, and things happened and they were lined up in a way we didn't understand or see. And he did some amazing things through different people and different means. And every moment of it, we knew it was him, because we're not that good to make things happen how they did. So just move that chair and put him right there. All right. We are in the story of Viv. Turn up the lights a little bit. Just slide the little bar up on the side. And then both lights are on. It seems dark in here.
Yeah. Oh,
There you go. I'm like, it seems dark. Okay. From darkness to light.
Yeah.
We're in the story of Joseph right now. So Joseph was going to be killed by his brother. He was sold into slavery instead. Remember, they gave him a little bit of a better option instead of dying. Then he went to Potiphar's house. His wife tried to sleep with him. He wouldn't do it because he didn't want to dishonor God. He didn't say anything else but God. Then he got put in jail because he was falsely accused of adultery, which he did not commit or attempt to commit. Then we left off at one point, and remember the cupbearer and the baker, and they had these dreams, and he interpreted them. And he said, "Don't forget me." And the cupbearer said, and then he got out, and he did what a lot of people do once they're free. He forgot all about Joseph. And we remember he left Joseph in prison for 2 whole years. That's a long time to be left in prison when you know, first of all, you weren't guilty. Second of all, the guy you just helped was supposed to get you out because he had a word in with Pharaoh and he didn't do it. So he was stuck in jail for 2 more years. And then he's able to interpret Pharaoh's dream. So Joseph comes out and he interprets his dream, but he didn't take the glory like he could have, because all those fake people that use Satan, you know, the I can't ever think of it, the necromancers and the people that do all the sorcery and all the stuff, they couldn't interpret the dreams. But Joseph said, not me, but God can. Now God was using him, and he didn't try to take any of the glory. And so he did interpret the dreams, and Pharaoh said, well, we should find a wise man who can do all these plans you've given us. And so Joseph, again, humbled himself and said, find a wise man. Did not suggest himself, even though he was the only one that could figure it out. And Pharaoh said, would you do this? You will be second in command to me. He said, the only thing that separates me and you is my throne, meaning the fact that I'm Pharaoh. Other than the fact that I'm Pharaoh, you are in charge of everything. Now that's crazy. This is a Hebrew who's one of those crazy tent people that lives up in the woods. That's how they saw him. They're the fancy rich people that have all the city, you know, the trade routes. They have the stores and the fancy stuff and the jewelry, makeup. You know, they had all the stuff. And he put this Hebrew in charge because of his relationship with God and the fact that God walked with him and Pharaoh could see that. So now Pharaoh gives him a ring, a chain. You know, I'm sure he looked like an Egyptian in the sense of like how he was dressed. He had all the money now. He had all the stuff, the fame. Everybody knew who he was. But he still walked in humility and he still honored God. And so he's in charge of, remember, he didn't come up with it. God gave him the answer, which was 7 years of abundance, 7 years of famine. So Joseph's plan was, hey, 7 years of abundance, we store away 1/5 of the grain every year. And he stored it in all the cities. So now they had an overabundance of, it said more than the sand of the seashore. That's how much grain they had in this 7 years of, you know, absolute more than you could ever imagine. Comes the 7 years of famine. Now we're at the 7 years of famine, and Egypt's the only place that knew to do this because of Joseph. So they have all this grain all over the place, everywhere in each city, and people are going to start coming and buying grain. And we talked about that. Joseph had a monopoly. He's the only one that has grain, and everybody needs it. It's pretty easy to be the top salesman when you're the only person that has what everybody needs. So he's making all this money in Egypt. Pharaoh's becoming richer and richer, and no one has a choice but to buy from them because they're the only ones that have it. So now everybody's dependent on Egypt. And when I say everybody, that's everybody around the world as they knew it had to come there because there was a famine in the land. It wasn't just in Egypt. So now we have everybody coming there, and this is where Joseph runs back into his family. That's where we're picking up in the story. Remember his brothers that sold him into slavery? Don't know where he's at. Don't know if he's alive. I don't know if they even care. I would say probably not, since they were going to kill him and then they sold him. So we're picking up in the story where Israel has gotten to the point where he's like, we got to go buy grain. We're going to die because they're in the land of Canaan, and you got to go southwest to Egypt. And so he sends his sons to go get grain because everybody's going to die pretty much. And they've been through some difficult times, right? We've seen droughts and all the stuff. You've seen everything. So we're picking up in verse 5. We're going to go through parts of the story. We're not going to read the whole thing because it's like 2 or 3 chapters, but we're going to bounce around through different parts of the chapters to just kind of see the main points of what's going on here and how Joseph responds. The biggest thing is for us today is how Joseph responds to his brothers. Again, don't just read the Bible and read it like it's something about somebody else. Put yourself in the place and say, if my brothers thought about killing me, threw me in this empty cistern, and then a band of guys comes through the trade route, and they're like, well, we could make some money. Remember who that was? Judah. Judah said, oh, we can just sell them for money. How would you feel, and how would you respond to your brothers when at some point, yeah, it's kind of like something you don't even want to think about. When it comes back around for you to be in a relationship or a situation with them, how do you respond? Because now you're in power over everybody. You can do whatever you want. You can get repayment in whatever way you want. You can kill them. You can put them in jail. You can torture them. You can do whatever you want.
You cannot sell them grain.
You cannot sell them grain. You can let them starve. None of these, I'm not saying, are good options. I'm just saying this is how people think. So we have to put ourselves in that place and say, what would we do? Let's see what Joseph does. Thus the sons of Israel came to buy among the others who came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And that's what we talked about. It reached all the way up into Canaan. Now Joseph was governor over the land. He was the one who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed themselves before him, their faces to the ground. You remember that? Remember Joseph had a dream when he was a teenager? And his brothers are like, he's ridiculous. Why does he keep saying we're going to bow to him? God gave him that dream. It was prophetic. They were going to bow to him. They just didn't like it. That's why they wanted to kill him. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he treated them like strangers and spoke roughly to them. Where do you come from? He said. They said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Like I said, you have to remember, this is 20 plus years later. Joseph was a teenager last they saw him. He's a grown man. He's like 37 years old. He's been in the Egyptian culture. He probably is not wearing the stuff he wore. His hair is going to be different. He's dressing and looking like an Egyptian, and he's an adult now. So all that put together, they're not seeing their brother, and they're afraid. They're coming to a strange land with nothing, and they see this man who's in charge, who's speaking roughly to them. Okay? Now Joseph is testing them. And Joseph recognized his brother, but they did not recognize him. And Joseph remembered the dreams that he had dreamed of them. And he said to them, you are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land. They said to him, no, my lord, your servants have come to buy food. We are all sons of one man. We are honest men. Your servants have never been spies. So he's just testing them to see, is their heart how it was before? Or are they different? He said to them, no, it is the nakedness of the land you have come to see. And they said, we are your servants. We your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father. And one is no more. So Benjamin is with dad, because dad was like, Israel's like, you're not taking my youngest. Again, we see favoritism. Joseph was one of his favorite sons. He lost him. He was the second to last son. Benjamin's the last. He's like, you're not taking my last son with you, because if something happens to him, I'm not going to be able to handle it.
And Benjamin was also the son of Rachel. So
Yeah,
Joseph was
and-
his favorite because he was Rachel's first son, and Benjamin was the second son, which she actually died giving birth to him. So when Joseph was gone, Benjamin became the favorite.
Yeah, and we've seen that through the generations. Remember, we talked about these generational curses and generational sins. You should not be you should have favoritism toward one of your kids, and especially not to the point where everyone knows it. I mean, even if you were to be, somehow have that feeling, should everyone know that? Should that just be an obvious thing? No. And remember, he got the coat of many colors. I mean, he made it obvious that he favored him. But Joseph said to them, it is I said you are spies. By this you shall be tested. By the life of Pharaoh, you shall not go from this place unless your brother comes here. So his thing is, you got to bring Benjamin here. Otherwise, you're not even leaving. Send one of you and let him bring your brother while you remain confined, that your words may be tested, whether there is truth in you. Or else, by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies. And he put them in custody for 3 days. So he's like, well, you're not going home. You're going to agree to go get your brother. And so he's testing them, first of all, to see the response. Second of all, to see is because he loves his brother. Benjamin, especially, he knows he's innocent. So he's like, I want to see if Benjamin's even still alive. Have they done something to him? Because, they hated me and Benjamin because of our mother, who was our father's favorite as well, favorite wife. Well, first of all, you shouldn't have more than one wife. Second of all, you shouldn't have favoritism towards one if you had more than one wife. And this is also where we need to review the fact that the Bible it is prescriptive and descriptive. Okay, people go, well, the Bible had slaves, so the Bible promotes slavery. The Bible promotes polygamy because they had multiple wives. It does not. It's telling us what happened. It's not telling us what's okay. When God speaks, he tells you what's okay to do and what's not okay to do. When you read a story about people doing stupid things, that's not God saying it's okay. It's the Bible telling you what happened. Okay, so it's not promoting polygamy just because we read about it. All right, so he's telling them they have to do this. We're going to jump up to 21 through 24. Then they said to one another, in truth, we are guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the distress of his soul when he begged us, and we did not listen. That is why the distress has come upon us. This distress has come upon us. And Reuben answered them, did I not tell you not to sin against the boy? But you did not listen. So now there comes a reckoning for his blood. They did not know that Joseph understood them, for there was an interpreter between them. So Joseph is speaking in whatever the Egyptian language is. He knows their language, but they don't know that he knows it because he's not speaking in it. So he's sitting there listening to them. And what do we see by this? They're sitting here saying, we were wrong. It's almost like an act of repentance. They're saying we should have never done this. Now, Reuben, the older, knows he should have stepped in, and he tried to. Remember, he said, no, don't kill him. Throw him in the cistern. And he was going to try to come back later and save him. And Judah's the one that said, no. Then his idea was, we'll sell him into slavery, because then we can get money out of it and get rid of him. 2 for 1, right? So that's terrible, but that was his plan. Then he turned away from them and wept, and he returned to them and spoke to them, and he took Simeon from them and bound him before their eyes. All right, so at this point, he takes his brother Simeon. He's about to send them off. He gives them grain. He gives them, and he puts the money back in there. They loaded their donkeys with grain and departed. And as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey fodder at the lodging place, he saw his money in the mouth of the sack. He said to his brothers, my money has been put back. Here it is in the mouth of my sack. All their hearts failed them. You'd be scared to death if you thought you paid for something and you didn't, and you knew how powerful that guy was that you just left. And if you see your money, you know at some point he's going to know he doesn't have the money that you were supposed to pay for that. And they turn trembling to one another. What is it that God has done to us? So they're looking at what they've done, and they're thinking, this must be repayment for our evil. For what we did in the past to our brother is still haunting us. Things are still happening to us because of that. So they go back to their father, told him everything that happened. And now it's time to convince Dad that we have to take Benjamin. Now, Dad already told you, you're not taking my youngest son. And they're going to have this wrestling match argument about, well, what do we do, Dad? Simeon's there now, remember? So now he has one of our brothers, and we're going to die. Because we're going to run out of grain. So we have to take Benjamin, and we have to go back and get Simeon, and we need some grain. So ultimately, Israel gives in. I don't know why it keeps calling him Jacob sometimes in Israel sometimes. It's confusing. Same person. So they're going to return to Egypt with their younger brother, Benjamin. Because ultimately, you can only last so long with your stubbornness, especially when you're going to starve to death. So, I mean, I guess if you think about it, he had to, right? I mean, he didn't want to send his son, but at the same time, if they all die anyway, then what were you saving? So he ends up sending him. They get back, and Joseph has them all come in, and he's going to give them a meal. And he's still kind of testing them. He's kind of feeling them out, trying to see, are my brothers still these evil men? Now, he can see the change because of the way they're responding to different things. But again, he tests them at this meal. So he has them all in for a meal together. Him and his really awesome palace and all the stuff that he has. And what he does is they're looking around and they're sitting, and it says the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men looked at one another in amazement. Portions were taken then from Joseph's table, but Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. So he gave Benjamin 5 times more than his brothers. Again, he's testing them. He's trying to single out Benjamin to see, do these guys have a problem with him still? And me. And so he continues to test his brothers. But you also notice that he was it says he wept. So you can see that he wants to try to be mean and test them, but he's really not built like that. He's crying the whole time. He remembers his brothers. He loves them even though they treated him bad. So we can see a forgiving heart, right? Because who cries if you're mad at them? All you'd be thinking about is, this is easy. I'm in power. I'm just going to do what I want to do and punish them. So that's not his thought process. So again, we're at another, Joseph's going to test his brothers. Then he commanded the steward of his house, fill the men's sacks with food as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of the sack. and put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the youngest with the money for the grain. And he did as Joseph told him. As the morning was light, the men were sent away on their donkeys. They had gone only a short distance from the city. Now Joseph said to his steward, up and follow after the men, and when you overtake them, say, why have you repaid evil for good? It is not from this that my Lord drink. Is it not this, from this that my Lord drinks? And by this that he practices divination? You have done evil in doing this. Now, a lot of the governors or leaders, they were actually Egyptian, and they probably did practice divination and all this evil sorcery stuff with that cup. But we know Joseph, he's followed the Lord the whole time. He's honored God through his whole life, so clearly he's not doing that. That is just something that traditionally they do, the people who would be in that position. All right, so it says, when he overtook them, he spoke to them with these words. They said to him, why does my Lord speak with such words as these? Far be it from your servants to do such a thing. Behold, the money that we found in the mouths of our sacks, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan. So they're saying, why would we steal from you? We brought back the other money that you thought we stole. So clearly we're not thieves, or that would, historically it doesn't what we do. How then could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? Whichever of your servants is found with it shall die. So they're so confident that they didn't take it. They're like, well, whoever has it, kill him. That's confidence. And we also, and will be the my Lord's servants. He said, let it be as you say. He found it with, he who is found with it shall be my servant, and the rest of you shall be innocent. Now that's interesting, because they said, kill whoever is found with it, and then the rest of us will serve you. And all he said was, I found that interesting. All he said was, no, whoever I found it with can just serve me. He didn't say anything about killing anyone. Then each man quickly lowered his sack to the ground, and each man opened his sack, and he searched, beginning with the eldest and ending with the youngest. Now he knew where it was, right? So he went through all of them, knowing that it wasn't going to be to the last one that it was found anyway, because that's where they planted it. Then they tore their clothes because the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Mr. Donald.
He's sitting in that chair there.
He's going to fall trying to do that. Then they tore their clothes, and every man loaded his donkey, and they returned to the city. All right, so everybody realizes Benjamin had the cup. We're in trouble. We got to go back. All right. So Joseph's playing these games with his brothers. Now, he could have played way worse games with them. All right. This is a kind of a funny and a good repayment for what they did to him, because he could really put them in jail. He could have them tortured, not kill them or really harm them, but just make them think they're, he could have done a lot of stuff. All he's doing is just messing with them a little bit, and just trying to see their hearts. So Judah steps up and says, how can I take over for my brother? Can you punish me instead of him? Now this is a big deal, because Judah's the one that suggested they sell him for money. And now he's willing to step in the place of Benjamin and be punished, whatever the punishment is, so that he's like, my dad trusted us with our youngest brother. He's like, I don't care what you do to me. Take me, not him. Just let our brother go back to his father. So does that sound like a repentant heart to you? Does that not sound like somebody who's different than they were whenever Joseph was sold? So Joseph is seeing his brothers, that they're different. So he goes through all this, and where are we going to pick up? 30 to 34. Now, therefore, as soon as I come to your servant, my father, the boy is not with us. Then, as his life is bound up in the boy's life, as soon as he sees that the boy is not with us, he will die. And your servants will bring down. So basically, he's telling him, if I don't go back with my brother, my dad's going to die. He's not going to be able to handle this. He's already lost his favorite son. Now he's going to lose his next favorite son. This is not a possibility. I don't care what you have to do, but we cannot go back to my dad without him. I fear to see the evil that would find my father. That's his last remark, Judah's last remark about his dad and this whole circumstance. All right, so we're picking up in 45. Then Joseph could not control himself before all those who stood by him. He cried, "Make everyone go out from me." So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. So at this point, Joseph can't even take it anymore. He's like, I've got to just tell them who I am. I've played around enough. I can see that they're different. And he loves his brothers, obviously. So he's like, I'm going to reveal myself to them. And he wept aloud so that the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. So Joseph said to his brothers, come near to me, please. And they came near, and he said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. So he's telling them, don't even feel bad about what you did. That's crazy. I mean, can you see this? Like forgiveness and love. For God sent me before you to preserve life. So he's already telling them, you guys were doing that, but he's like, God's in control no matter what's going on. You know, it wasn't a great life, but God sent me here to save, and really to save everyone, right? Because everybody's being saved by his plan. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. So that means 5 more years of famine. And God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh. And that's just the term they use for the people that serve Pharaoh, like they're his number one people right up under him. And Lord of all his house and ruler over all of land of Egypt. Hurry up and go out to my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all of Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near me, you and your children and your children's children, and your flocks, your herds, and all that you have. So Joseph's like, go get dad, go get everything we own, bring it here to me. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure everything's okay. Let him know that everything is good. There I will provide for you. So since there are 5 more years of famine, Joseph's like, come here where I can take care of you. And then your household and all that you have, they will not come to poverty. And now your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see, that it is my mouth that speaks to you. You must tell my father of all my honor in Egypt and all that you have seen. Hurry and bring my father down here. Then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. And Benjamin wept upon his neck, and he kissed all of his brothers and wept upon them. After this, his brothers talked with him. So now Joseph has revealed himself, shown his brothers he loves them. He's going to take care of them. He actually wants them to bring everyone back so that they can bring their whole family there and be taken care of. So Israel, let's see. So Israel's coming back, okay? And on his whole way there, he's offering sacrifices. So again, we see the honor this family has for God. They're worshiping him and offering sacrifices as they're on their way down here. God spoke to him and said, I am the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you into a great nation. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also bring you up again, and Joseph's hands shall close your eyes. All right, so God is telling him, clearly he sought the Lord. He didn't just go. He asked God. God said, yes, you may go. Lesson for us. Don't keep doing things without asking God first. God told him, yes, you need to go. And then I will bring your people back. Now we know there's a lot that's going to happen before his people come back to the land of Canaan. There's 400 years of slavery and all kinds of madness. But he said, I'll bring your people back. And he said, Joseph's hand shall close your eyes. So you will die right there with your son Joseph. You got something? Oh. All right, and then we're going to finish with, so all this is happening, and we're going to chapter 50. Sorry, my nose is itching so bad. And then last 2 verses. Now this is famous, everybody knows this. But Joseph said to them, do not fear, for am I in the place of God? So his brothers thought he was going to do something to them because their dad died. And he's like, once dad dies, he's going to kill us. He's just keeping us alive because dad's there. And he said, as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good to bring about it that many people should be kept alive as they are today. So that tells us that he knows, regardless of what y'all did, which was evil, you tried to kill me, you tried to sell me, God meant it for good. So all that difficulty Joseph had was what led him to the power position that he was in. And he knew the whole time that God was in control and he wasn't going to fight it. He was going to let God do what God does. Lesson for us. You'll have difficult times. Life will get hard. It's not going to always be easy. But if you trust God, that's where Romans 8:28 comes from. You know, he works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. This is the proof of that. This is one proof, not all proof. One proof in the Bible that that is true. That's why Scripture is congruent. It all says the same thing if you actually read it in context. All right, we're going to prepare for communion. Okay? While they get your stuff to you, I'm going to read what Jesus said.